Hello, everyone, and welcome. Here today, I'm joined with Kim Dwyer, the Chief Operating Officer at Canadian-based crypto trading platform Netcoins, to talk all about cryptocurrency staking. Kim, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so I was wondering if we could start a little bit about your background, what you do at Netcoins, and how you got involved with crypto in the first place.
Yeah, sure. So my role at Netcoins as COO, I'm responsible for a wide range of areas. But I primarily oversee operations of both our teams and our platform. We take care of everything in the background that supports Netcoin services and functionality. So for the most part, this has included all of the trading functionality, but most recently, it includes the launch of our staking services, where we currently support staking of ETH.
Awesome. So, to dive in a little bit more into staking, it's for some a bit of a challenging concept to understand. So, for those who are new, Kim, could you explain what it is in, I guess, simple terms?
Yes. Okay. So, in very, very simple terms, staking is the process of locking up or staking a certain amount of cryptocurrency to participate in transaction validation. In exchange for staking your crypto and validating these transactions, you earn rewards. So, in order to stake, you have to hold on a proof of stake network, and the specific staking details of each of these networks they vary. So it's really important for users that are participating in staking to understand the relevant lockup periods, reward rates, or minimum requirements of that particular cryptocurrency before they engage in staking. And one thing with staking is it may seem very complicated to the average individual, and that's why we're here at Netcoins. And so through our service, we make it very easy for customers to educate themselves on what staking is, all of those particular items that I'd gone over, like lockup periods, reward rates, and then allow them to participate on our platform.
Interesting. So, you mentioned rewards. I guess what are the primary benefits for users who choose to stake their crypto? And I know Ethereum is, you know, been introduced to the platform. So I guess on the topic of Ethereum, what are the benefits of staking Ethereum?
Yeah, so the main benefit that our users are interested in is to earn passive income on assets that they are holding. And so this is especially the case for customers that may plan to hold that asset long term. So if you own ETH and it's on the Netcoins platform and you have no intention of selling it anytime soon, then staking is a really great option for you. Even if you're looking at just holding it for the near term as well. So passive income, I would say, is probably the number one benefit that gets discussed. There are other benefits to staking. So it can be you're contributing to increased security on the network because more staked assets mean more validators that are participating in the transaction validation on the proof of stake network. And then also you are supporting the growth and development of other blockchain projects.
Interesting. So now I guess more now on the topic of netcoins. Can you walk us through why netcoins introduced Ethereum staking to the platform?
Yeah, so we were really interested in staking. We're obviously monitoring market trends, and we know that staking in general is gaining a lot of popularity, especially with ETH, with all of the upgrades and the transition from proof of work to the proof of stake consensus mechanism recently. And so we were really listening to what was happening in the market, and then also what our customers were looking for. And we learned that a lot of them were looking to stake their assets on networks, and the most in demand asset was ETH. So this did inform how we were going to go ahead and set up the service. And so, as I mentioned before, Netcoin's objective is to make staking really simple and accessible to the average person. So we manage all of the complexities that come with connecting to required partners or validators. And we've also adjusted minimum amounts and thresholds that the network actually requires in order to participate. So in the case of ETH, participants need to actually lock up 32 ETH in order to spin up or become a validator. And this number may make staking out of reach for an average individual because it's a lot of money when you're talking about Canadian dollars. At Netcoins, we've removed this minimum, and users can start participating in staking with as little as 0.001 ETH. And so we're really excited that we offer a service that's very simple for users to use, and then also accessible for lots of users in the Canadian market.
That makes a lot of sense. And how has the response been since the announcement?
It's been great. So as expected, right after we launched, we saw an initial surge in staking. And since then, we are seeing steady volumes of staking, not very much unstaking, which shows that lots of users are, happy with what they're seeing through the staking services and enjoy receiving the rewards. At the moment, we have about 8% of our ETH on the platform currently staked.
Interesting. Um, Now, on the topic of bonding periods, can you talk a little bit about what bonding periods are in relation to staking and why they're important?
Yeah, so bonding periods, and each network kind of refers to it a little bit differently because they all have different processes. And so I'll just refer to it as bonding periods for this conversation, but it may be referred to something different, whether you're talking about ETH or Solana or a different proof of stake network. But it's essentially a period of time that a user has to wait after they stake until they're eligible to start earning rewards. So this is handled differently across different networks, as I mentioned, and users can expect the bonding periods on the Netcoins platform to reflect what is actually on the network. And so we don't make up our bonding periods. We don't adjust them based on Netcoins operational processes. We pull those bonding periods from the network, and that's what users are seeing. And it's really important to understand for users what these bonding periods and wait times look like when they're determining if staking is appropriate for them.
That makes sense. And are the bonding periods variable or are they, always the same, let's say?
It depends on the network, but for ETH, it's variable. It's based on an activation queue, and it changes based on the length of that queue. And
Yeah,
so, without getting into all of those details, it changes from time to time, and we pull our bonding period in dynamically to reflect the most current periods on the network.
that makes a lot of sense. Now, on the topic of rewards, what kind of rewards can users expect when they're staking their Ethereum on the Netcoins platform?
Yeah, this is an interesting question. I think it's important to level set that at Netcoins, users earn rewards based on what is actually earned on chain. And so this means that users can reference a current reward rate for any particular cryptocurrency and then use that reward rate to predict what future rewards might be, keeping in mind that depending on the network, that rate may fluctuate from time to time. And so for Ethereum, it does fluctuate. Again, we pull in the most current reward rates, and the at the moment, I believe, just checking here, I think the reward rate is currently fluctuating between, we're seeing 3 and 6%. And again, that varies depending on the performance of the validator and a number of different factors.
Makes sense. And are there any risks involved with this for those interested? How does Netcoin potentially mitigate any risks that are involved?
Yeah, at Netcoins, we outline all of the relevant staking risks in our risk statement. So if users want to do a deep dive on this, you can find that on our platform as you're going through the staking flow, or just available on our website. For this conversation, I'll highlight a few. I'd say one that users are most interested in is the lockup periods. And so, as I mentioned earlier, with a bonding period or a lockup period or whatever terminology you wish to use, some stakeable assets are locked up and cannot be accessed during that lockup period. And so, if the price of your asset varies or changes significantly while it's locked up, you may not be able to access that asset to sell it if that's what you wish to do. And so I'd say that's one of the concerns that some of our users have. But understanding what bonding periods, unbonding periods, lockup periods look like, and then making sure that that's aligned with what your long-term objectives are or immediate objectives are, then that can help mitigate that risk. And it's a decision to each individual on whether or not it's appropriate for them. And then secondly, I'll talk a little bit about validator risk. So validators can be penalized for bad behavior on the network, whether it's downtime or unintentionally doing something that they didn't mean to. And this can impact staking returns. So in order to mitigate that risk, Netcoins has been careful about who we've partnered with. We've partnered with industry leading staking service providers to mitigate that risk. And so we've evaluated if there's been any penalties in the past, which for our providers there have not been, and looked at a number of other assurances in place to make sure that we reduce any potential impacts on staking returns.
That makes sense. And I guess to add on to your kind of initial point there about the time it takes to unstake and that as a potential risk, I guess that kind of stems from your previous point, which talks about how this is something for, someone who may want to hold Ethereum for I guess an extended duration and isn't
Yeah,
necessarily interested in buying and selling at a moment's notice, right? Because with
exactly.
staking, there's that time, right? That buffer. And, for
Yeah,
long-term investors, they don't really care about that.
yeah,
But
exactly. And again, it varies depending on the asset. Some are a lot shorter, and some are longer, more fixed lockup periods. And so it's important to educate yourself and understand what those look like, and if it aligns with whatever your strategy is.
yeah, that makes sense. Now, for someone considering staking on Netcoins, do you have any advice that you could give them?
Yeah, I think my biggest piece would be just do your research and make a decision that's appropriate for you and your goals. And so we've talked a lot about the bonding periods, lockup periods, reward rates, reward frequencies. It's important for users to really understand what all of these mean, and then determine if staking is appropriate for them. I'd also say stake when you consider staking in general, it would be important to make sure that whoever it is that you choose to stake with, you're staking with a reputable partner. So here at Netcoins, we're a regulated company. All of your staked assets are held in cold storage with a qualified custodian. And so the risks are mitigated in that respect as well. There's a lot of transparency that comes with being a regulated company. And so understanding who you are partnering with for the staking service is really important as well.
Yes. And are there any resources or tools on Netcoins that can help users make more informed decisions? You mentioned the risk statement, but are there any others?
Yeah, the risk statement obviously is up there. That more so outlines risks with respect to staking, but you can also just find general information about our staking service on our website, on the mobile app, and in our FAQs for more specific terms relative to our staking service and with ETH.
Sounds good. And we'll make sure to link these in the description box if anyone is interested into some of these more sort of important things on the Netcoins website about staking. Now, I guess kind of to close things off as the crypto world continues to evolve, how is Netcoins ensuring it stays at the forefront, especially in areas like staking?
Yeah, of course. And our team, we're constantly monitoring what's happening in the market, the regulatory landscape, which is always changing. We're listening to our customers, and we're consulting with industry partners. With respect to staking, we know it's an in-demand service, especially among our retail customers. And we are looking to add additional digital assets onto the staking platform. And so that is definitely something that is on our roadmap. We're evaluating that based on what users are looking for and what the market is telling us. And then on the other hand, another area that we're looking at really closely right now is just assessing the needs of corporate clients and institutions and looking to provide a robust staking service that meets their particular needs, which might be a little bit different from our standard retail customer. So yeah, staking is here to stay at Netcoins, and we're only going to grow the service more and more. And we at Netcoins are committed to offering the best products and services to our customers.
Well, that sounds like a very exciting future, Kim. So anyways, thank you everyone for watching this video all the way through. Please check out the description box for more resources about staking. And Kim, thank you so much for coming on and explaining all of this on a high level.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.